And I'm Bianca Garza. So again, we will get much more on the president's trip and his big rally in Pittsburgh. But let's bring in our panelists to weigh in on some of these stories that are developing at this hour. Lawyer and GOP strategist Ford O'Connell with us, and also Texas businessman. He's the founder also of Joe from Texas.com, Joe Penland. Great to see you both, gentlemen, on a Friday afternoon. Thank you.
Great to be with you, Bianca.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Elon Musk, let's get right into it. It's not a goodbye. It's just sort of an official ending of his role. The work that he was doing for so many Americans and the hits he was taking, you know, to his reputation, to his businesses. President Trump, obviously, giving him that gold key and saying he's going to be a friend. Joe, I'll let you kick things off because you have a sharp eye for all the fiscal irresponsibility and all the fraud, waste, fraud, and abuse. Tell us how you think this conversation went.
I think obviously the president is pleased that anybody would just come out of the private sector, take his time to get in here and try to help America. You know, we got a lot of problems, and you wanted somebody completely neutral to come in and take a look at this. And he's got it started, and it's going to remain to be seen how it comes out. But I think in order to have anything that had any merit to it, you had to get somebody that was not a politician, come in, take a look at it. This is his expertise, and I hope we find a lot of things that we can save the taxpayers' money on.
All right, I want to play a little bit of the exchange inside the Oval and get your reaction on the other side, Ford.
We're totally committed to making the DOGE cuts permanent and stopping much more of the waste in the months to come. We want to get our great, big, beautiful bill finished and done. After that, we put some of this into the bill, but most of it's going to come later. We're going to have it cauterized by Congress, affirmed by Congress.
The rescissions package, obviously, House and Senate back in session next week. So tell us about how you think this is all going to go moving forward with the one big beautiful bill.
Well, with respect to the one big beautiful bill, because it's going through budget reconciliation, the only place that you can actually trim is with respect to discretionary spending. And when it comes to the $160 billion that Elon identified in waste, fraud, and abuse, that is mostly mandatory spending, and that's going to require Congress to weigh in, particularly with 60 votes in the United States Senate. Hopefully they can get it done because this is common sense. And to Joe's point, Elon Musk is a patriot who did government service at great personal and financial risk, and yet for that we have to take our hat off to him.
Yeah, that's right. A patriot from South Africa who came here to work for free for America. Pretty incredible. All right, so Reagan National Economic Forum was this morning, and JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon was there. He says he is more worried about the enemies within. Now, Dimon went on to say, if we fix our immigration regulations and inner city schools and then spend whatever needs to be spent to have the strongest military in the world, he predicts we could grow 3% a year. But, Joe, Jamie Dimon also had these sharp comments for special interest groups. Let's play this.
Those groups are so selfish. Cotton, corn, sugar. And when they go to D.C., they're fighting for interest groups, unions, teachers, and it's really damaging our country. So you need leadership like a Ronald Reagan type. They have to explain to the American public why you have to sacrifice, your own personal interest. And if you do, by the way, and we can grow at 3%, you'll still be far better off. So, to me, it's okay to sacrifice a little bit and to get all these groups. And all these groups, a lot of CEOs, they don't even know what their people are asking for in D.C.
I'm sure you're not surprised, Joe, but this is what President Trump is doing, going up against, big pharma as a perfect example.
Well, big pharma has always ripped off, as far as I'm concerned, in my lifetime, America. We're paying way more than the other countries pay around the world. There's no reason for America to continue to take it on the chin on research and development, and that's what they always pointed to. Research and development, that benefits the whole world. Why should we pay it all? But if we could grow our economy 3% steady, really grow it, no funny games and everything, we're really growing it. And then mentioned earlier about getting the border and immigration under control. There's some things that need to be reformed in this country. There's 4 or 5 things that really need to be reformed. And when you go back and look at when we balanced our budget 4 times back many, many years ago when Newt Gingrich was there and he worked with Bill Clinton, we had to reform some things. There is a little pain sometimes to get things back on track.
That's right. Well, we might have a fighting chance now with President Trump and his sharp eye for business, and also how everything is triangulated, right? Economics, fair trade, is national security, strong borders. It all ties together. Joe Biden obviously left us a mess, disastrous 4 years. But, you know, there's actually a push for accountability. Ford Senators Eric Schmidt of Missouri, John Cornyn of Texas are chairing the Senate Judiciary Committee to get to who was really in charge. And Joe Biden actually came out, first public comments, you're seeing some video of it here, since his cancer diagnosis, and he met with reporters after. Here's some of the exchange.
I think we're at a really difficult moment, not only in America, but in the world. I think they're one of those inflection points in history, where the decisions we make in the next little bit are going to determine what things look like in the next 20 years. And I'm talking about that for a long time. And I'm very proud. I put my record as president against any president at all.
He's saying he's proud of his record. It's hard to understand him. What do you think will be uncovered at this hearing? They say they're also going to go after the media as part of the cover-up. Caroline Leavitt yesterday, and President Trump was asked this as well. Should Joe Biden be called in, Ford?
Well, I remain optimistic that they're going to get to the bottom of this because essentially it's the greatest political scandal of the modern era. Joe Biden did not have the mental ability, agility, or mental acuity to actually be the 46th president of the United States. And I think we're going to find out it was probably as far back as 2019. And my question is for the people who are running the country who were not Senate confirmed, well, are all those executive orders and all those pardons, particularly Hunter Biden's pardon, are those actually legal? Because it seems to me that Hunter Biden actually wrote his own pardon, and it's such a ridiculous pardon as a lawyer. I can't imagine ever pardoning somebody for future and past crimes without even knowing what those crimes are. I mean, this is the greatest cover-up, and the media didn't care. And the reason why they didn't care is because they wanted Donald Trump to lose, and essentially they would do it again if this occurred, and we would never find out about any of this had Biden or Harris won re-election.
It's so scary to think that, and yet it's true. The lawfare, Joe, and in addition to that, President Trump still now won popular vote, the Electoral College, and now he has to fight the activist judges. They're still fighting him despite the win he got to come back to save America. Your final thoughts, Joe, on this?
Well, he has more grit than any man I've ever seen. I've never seen that much thrown at any one person and still stand up and take it on the chin. Last time I visited with the president a few weeks ago, when I shook hands with him, I asked him, how can one man take so much and continue to come up smiling? He said, Joe, somebody's got to do it. And I believe he will. I believe he'll go down in history as one of the best presidents this country's ever had. Nobody's had to deal with what he's had to deal with. You know, he's prevented wars. Other people have walked right into them, and we were close to it this time. And everybody in America and the world should be happy that he got reelected.
And he's just getting started for this second run here in the White House, landing within the hour in Pittsburgh. We'll be tracking that as well, as he's working for hardworking Americans nonstop every day. Joe Penland, Joe from Texas, Ford O'Connell. Thank you, guys. Great to see you on a Friday. I really appreciate your thoughtful comments today here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.